Well, good evening, race fans, and welcome to PSGL's F11, where we go full screen and full throttle for your racing enjoyment. My name is Webbo. I'm here to lead you through our 13th race of the season. We're nearing the end, just 3 to go, including this one, and it's very tight at the top of the championship. But before I get into all of that, I'm very pleased to welcome everybody's favourite weather event. It's Lightning here in the comms box with us.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Lightning.
Pleasure to be here.
Great to have you. People have been asking when we can finally get a co-commentator in the box, so great to have you with us. And I understand you've been looking into some of the details around the race to come, but I'll cut to you in a minute because I just want to take everyone through the current championship standings. This is incredibly tight. As I say, this is the 13th race. It's very tight at the top. Jibuk leads the championship on 82 points, but just 2 behind is Yarmo with a big run of form recently. With Jibuk with 3 wins and 2 second places. Yarmo with 2 wins, 2 second places, and a few more consistent points finishes over the course of the season. In third is Franco on 67. Salad, who sadly is not with us tonight, on 58, and on 57. Matty, 55, Giovi. So any of those drivers theoretically have got the opportunity to win this championship. So we're very intrigued to see what the next few races produce in terms of the Constructors' Championship. I'll get that for you very shortly. Mercedes lead on 131 points, 36 ahead of Alpine, who in turn are 15 ahead of the Haas team. Well, Lightning, we're heading out to the Circuit of the Americas, a little bit of a rare occurrence in league racing.
It certainly is. It's one of the toughest tracks on the calendar, with 20 corners, the most we've had so far this season. Tyre temperatures are going to be the main problem, in my opinion. They're going to be suffering quite a lot because we've got high downforce as well. Usual setups are 11 wings. So to get some straight line speed, you want to compensate with high tyre pressures, which in turn cause more overheating, especially through the first sector. So we're going to see some managing of that, and hopefully we can see some good racing. It's going to be tough to follow through Sector 1, but thankfully on this game, it's easier than real life. And
Yes.
We should see some good overtakes, good moves.
Turn 1, the highest point of the track, and one of the slowest turns, so very interesting. If you use the cockpit cam, you're staring up at the sky quite frequently in this track, particularly through the S's. We haven't really got a great deal of corner names for you, but a lot of numbers. 20 turns with 11 left, 9 right, 130 feet of elevation. We've already got some drivers out there ready to run. So
Vapor Shadow, first
Vapor
out on
Shadow,
track.
we know him, don't we? A little bit, so we'll be able to have a look at him.
I've had great battles with him in the past.
Absolutely. Welcome. If you're joining us on the stream, you're very welcome indeed. Thanks to Ryan for getting in there with the first comments, as always. Ryan has joined F11 recently and has had a 4th and a 3rd place. I've given him the target of 2nd tonight, and a win before the end of the season would be pretty special. Well, and hello to Quistas as well, who's commenting. If you haven't left a comment with us yet, say hello. Tell us who you're here to support, and obviously drop the Argentinian flags if it's for Franco, because we like to see everything lighting up the live chat. Vapor Shadow out there, just heading into turn 12 now. Very, very technical Lightning this track.
Absolutely. The last part of Sector 2 and first part of Sector 3 is very difficult on traction, especially. You have to get the power down early, but if you do it too early, you have a very high chance of spinning and ruining not only the lap, but your tyres. And the race is even worse than that. But he's setting up the lap now.
Yeah, well, you can go right ahead and take us on a guide. Just let everybody know that that Jamie's let me know that it's dry race and qualifying tonight.
Perfect. Heading into turn 1, braking very late at the black box. Very nice turn in, good exit, no wheel spin. Through the right-hander, flat out through here as well, and here, slight lift here, and then try and hug that inside apex. You can lose the rear end through there if you're not too careful. And then very, very difficult off-camber turns here. So easy to lose the car, but he does it very well. Flat out to that left-hander, not even a corner for them. Braking into this hairpin, onto the back straight, where it's full throttle for 15 seconds, I think.
Because of the downforce, the cars reach about 196, 197 miles an hour. Can't break the 2-ton mark.
It's a very, very high downforce circuit. Maybe you can see some teammates slipstreaming. Would help. Obviously, purple, all sectors, as is the first lap we've had this weekend. Nice rotation through here. Easy to lose the rear, but he does it very well. Flat out through this right-hander. Amazing corner. Very easy to miss the apex. He does miss it slightly, but he keeps it within the bounds of the track, so that's what matters on your first lap. And then good rotation through the last corner, heading to the line. P1, as expected, a 32.7. I'm expecting that to be beaten, but it is a very good banker lap.
Yeah, and newcomer to the league, Avenger in P2, unless they've changed their name recently. Speaking of name changes, must mention that Ayrton, who goes P3, is the erstwhile Yuki, who started the league as Tsunoda, so can't make up his mind what his name is going to be. I don't know if he's settling on Ayrton or not. Ryan, P2, 32.8. Jibuk, our championship leader, 32.0 first lap. Nice work from the Mercedes driver there. Who else have we got? Yarmo, number 2 in the championship at the moment. Not happy, he's invalidated, and he can't go for another lap on around Kota on worn tyres. Dave has invalidated as well. Lancy, another newcomer. We must mention, Lightning, that a number of drivers were able to take advantage of the mid-season sign-ups recently and slot in as reserves in preparation for the following season, season 30, which could, if they progress well and race well, they won't have to pre-qualify. Vapor Shadow in P3, just beaten by Jamie in P2. Lancy goes P9, 133.708. We'll need to find a little bit more time than that to be competitive tonight. Tom has gone on the mediums. I see Franco mediums, Ayrton mediums so far. So some different strategies at this early point. Mediums a good choice, Lightning, for an early banker.
Mediums are a very good tyre for this track because the medium soft opposite strategy of the usual, it's very, very beneficial and a lot easier to make it work for the one stop, whereas the soft medium is surprisingly a lot slower than other tracks when you do the opposite strategy. So if they can do another lap on the mediums, it'll still be good enough to start the race without being too worn. And if you get within the top 10, maybe P8, you could be in with a very good shout of at least a podium at the end.
Yeah, I completely agree. Looks like Enro's gone back in. Jimmy Allen returns to the championship after being missing for some time. Dave is attacking a lap though. We'll have a look at him. I think he's the only one actually running. Roger in P2 for Haas, 32.339, and I know Yarmo has been flying the Haas flag solo for the majority of our season and is glad to have a competitive teammate to help haul in the points and reel in at the Mercedes team, who are far and away leading the championship at the moment. Welcome to everyone just joining us. Please, if you want to hear the full championship positions, you can always rewind in a quiet moment on the track. Go ahead, Lightning.
I was just on board with Dave, and he has made a lot of mistakes on this lap, especially through the first sector. Looks like he hasn't had much practice, sadly, for him. So I think he's backed off a bit.
quite
possibly
likely to
to
be a bit of a bogey circuit for a lot of drivers. You just don't get a lot of practice. You don't get a lot of events here. It's so complicated and treacherous. I think it tends to be only the more elite and serious leagues that dare challenge it.
Absolutely. In the leagues that I'm in, a very small amount. Oh, huge mistake for Dave. He spins it at the fast right-hander, and but he's still in the race, so it's good for him. But yeah, very small percentage of the leagues that I'm in
Not
have
still in the
USA,
race, I must just interject, is Yarmo, our P2.
no.
He didn't set a time. He'll be starting very near or completely at the back. So he's obviously made a mistake through the S's, it looks like. That's where the Haas is parked. Well, not parked, smashed, presumably, if he's gone out of the session. Huberto Mancini, Chibuk's teammate here, is pushing the Mercedes through. Just gets a snap of oversteer in the penultimate corner, turn 19. Just number 20 to go. I think the soft tyres have let go already for him. Straight up to P3, and that's a 1-3 for Mercedes at this early stage.
Yeah, the corner where Yarmo crashed, if you hit that right-hander apex too much, it completely unsettles the car and sends you into the wall. The chances of recovering are very difficult, so I know exactly what he did, and yeah, it's very unfortunate, but hopefully, considering he's P2 in the standings, he has the speed, so he should have the racecraft to get back up the field, but considering there's only 3 rounds, including this one, to go, that has not helped his championship chances.
Definitely not. No, he'll be down in the dumps at the moment. You can see him already mentioning in the chat. He's saying it's not good. Well, keep fighting, Yarmo. We'd like to see a good fight back, and all is not lost. We know how often in a league race, a race can be turned around by a good strategy, a lucky safety car, or just carnage at the front can affect everything. Jibuk will be driving defensively, leading the championship, knowing that Yarmo's behind, so he could be vulnerable to other drivers. But currently he's in the very best position to drive a defensive race, which is right at the very front, with a rear gunner nearby as well. So we've just got Avenger here, just overdoing the traction on the way out of turn 13 and spins the car around. That's another lap ruined, so nothing to be had through there. Let's see how Ryan's getting on through the S's. Lightning.
Go on board with them now. Oh, very nice run through there. Not invalidating. How he kept the rear end so stable, I have no clue. That was amazing. Heading into the hairpin. Nice late braking. Perfect apex.
Yeah.
Little bit of oversteer, but not too much. Still got a good exit.
Seemed to hit the apex perfectly, but just perhaps a tiny bit of overspeed as he headed out towards the exit curve.
196 miles an hour. If we can keep an eye on that through quali, we can see if anybody's running lower or higher wings. Purple through sector 2. He is on for a very, very good lap here. Maybe challenging for pole position. Nice. Absolutely. Apex there. Good traction. Very
New pole from Franco while we watch Ryan. New pole from Franco of 31.5. That's a big window. Now, I don't know if Ryan's sectors are close enough to that to challenge for pole anymore.
He's pretty much perfected sector 3, to be fair to him.
Brilliant stuff.
Oh wow.
Straight up to P2. That'll do for the Ferrari for now. 31.916, and he can now afford to really push through that first sector. But Franco, your provisional pole sitter. Ryan in second, Jibuk third. We've got Vapor Shadow in fourth, just getting out of the way of other cars on the track. I think Jibuk is a quarter of a second down already through sector 2 on his own time. Not good enough to beat Franco yet. He's going to need a monster third sector. Can he afford here, Lightning, to just throw it around, or would he rather be second?
I think that you might as well just go. Oh wow, that's a very good lap.
The times are tumbling now. Now Etten, goes in. So Jibuk gets one place
Jibuk
up.
Ahead again. It's very close. Brian is tumbling. He has to go for a mega lap for the last one, and might as well just completely send it, to be honest.
Tom in the Williams, P4. Vapor Shadow still 7th and won't be improving this time out. What's Dave up to? Anything better this time? Well, he's just starting his lap, so perhaps we'll join him in a moment. Lancey won't be doing anything special this lap out. Jimmy Allen, I think he said in the chat he won't be quick because he's had 0 practice on this one. So, and got a very late call up to race, one of our reserve drivers.
NRO is ending his lap now, I think, looking very quick, to be fair to him. So from 18th, where can he get this?
Oh, good.
Oh, he's starting it. Well, no, he's not. It was glitched.
14th, so near his teammate, but not quite there. Jimmy Allen gets a 32.863, about where he was before. No big improvement this time out. I don't know anybody else running at the moment pushing.
We've got Ayrton, Roger, and Gibbet all next to each other on track, like they're battling.
Interesting. Okay.
Not sure what's going on there.
I think they're all heading into the pits as well. They've already done a lap. Yes, seems to be Roger and the Ferrari. Yeah, all of them heading into the pits. Obviously crowding each other out a little bit.
Ooh, nearly hit each other.
Max says he'd like to. He's stopped playing for a long time. Max in the chat, Max Van Stennis, and he's wanting to get back into PSGL. So he's done his sign up. Hopefully he gets in. Yeah, will be good to see another one of our audience make it into the league, as Ryan did. Ryan was faithfully watching every week and found his way in. So Dave's on a lap. Lightning, I think. Oh, wow, that looked a little bit loose in the S's. Just way too fast. He's currently nearly 4/10 over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just chucking the car around.
Sure what's going on with him? I think not much practice.
Yeah.
But he is mid-pack, to be fair, P10. I think he'll be hoping for P11 if he can't improve, to be honest. Because starting on anything but soft is better. Jimmy Allen is out.
Oh, good. I'm just watching with Chad here. Another recent joiner to this season. A reserve driver. He's got a purple first sector in the Red Bull. From 15th at the moment to get a purple first sector is pretty clever. So now the next sector is pretty much just pointing it in the right direction. That's all that's left. There we go, 196, 197 I see on his steering wheel.
Most people are going to be running the same downforce 1111 wings, so it's all about how good of an exit you can get.
Yeah.
4/10 faster, I think.
Yeah,
oh,
the
no.
middle sector wasn't amazing, was it? Yeah. It will depend how he did before, but it's not going to be challenging right at the top. I got excited with his purple first sector, and that'll teach me. Into the final, turn 20 then. Away, and unfortunately no improvement after a purple sector. That's got to hurt. Matty's on a lap, and all the top 9 are coming out of the pits for their final runs. Just under 2 minutes to go before the checkered flag falls.
Ryan is just about to start.
Excellent. Well, I'll stay with Matty for a minute. He's just a little bit positive, but probably not enough to take anything huge. So let's join Ryan then to start with. See his first sector. Quistus asks if he can play. Well, you'll find the link into the PSGL's Discord on the channel about page, and then you'll find out how to run a sign up and what your requirements are to get in. 29 hundredths of a second slower for Ryan through the first sector.
Anybody I don't know how it was slower. It's perfect.
It looked good, but then you said that on his last lap, so
that's a very good point.
perhaps guilty in in his previous attempt of taking too much out of the tyres in the first sector.
That could be the case. He got a very good exit. He should make it to 197 maybe? Nope, still 196. So maybe some slight differences in downforce. Half a tenth faster through sector 2.
He's gained about a tenth through that sector. Yeah. Where's Roger? He's going 3/10 faster than he's been before. What's
Huge oversteer moment. It has completely ruined his delta. I think P5 is all you're going to get.
Lost Matty as well. Not for the first time. Tom is going. No, he's not going super quick. Sorry, his sector that came up wasn't great. We'll watch with Roger before we then watch our top 3 who have started their final laps. See what Roger's second sector looks like. What order have we got on the track for the top 3? Looks like we've got Mercedes stuck on the exit turn 1 as well. I don't know if that's Jibbock or not.
It is Jibbock, yes. Disqualified. Vapor Shadow is disqualified, meaning Yarmo should start P17.
Okay, that's 1 place gain then for Yarmo. Roberto Mancini out. I don't know if he's just retired before attacking. No, it looks to be on the exit of this final corner. There he is. You can see him from Flying Dutch Roger's car. Roger goes P5, quicker still. Tom's going better, but he's got Lancey in front of him. Possibly might be able to get a little toe to the final line here. And across the line he goes. Gets up to P4. We know Jibbock won't be doing anything special. Franco is nearly 2/10 faster and challenging for pole here. I think behind him on track is that Ayrton? No, Ayrton's ahead of him on track. So we'll see Ayrton defending his pole here. About to come across the line. Ayrton on a 1:31.452. That's his fastest time. As Franco gets pole, a 31.145. That one was pretty special in the end. That is how you do it in style on the absolute death of qualifying. The only car running is Jibbock, who is invalidated. So Franco stealing pole at the very end from Ayrton, and those 2 drivers very much in a group of their own, Lightning.
That was fantastic. I haven't seen such close racing in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame for Ryan because he was on a good lap. Just a slight mistake can make all the difference.
Well, welcome to F11, Lightning, and everybody else who's on the chat. We've got a lot of Brits featuring at the top, but it's an Argentinian driver, Franco, who claims pole, a 31.145 from Ayrton, Jibbock, Tom, then the Dutchies, Flying Dutch Roger and Ryan, 5th and 6th. A Welshman, Roberto Mancini, from another Dutch driver, Avenger, then another Welsh driver, Jamie, and a Dutch driver, Dave, in 10th. On free choice of tyres will be Lancey, Matty, Jimmy Allen, Chad, Enro, Jim, Yarmo, and Vapor Shadow. Wow, really dramatic end to qualifying,
cool. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Why didn't you tell me about this earlier? Oh wait, you did.
Been trying to get Giant Lightning in for some time. So.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm here now.
Definitely.
Looking forward to this race.
Yeah, it's a luxury of being such a popular Discord and channel to race on, is that because we've got in the region of I think of 15 PlayStation divisions, the divisional racing that you get tends to be very very close. Nicholas Buffano says Vamos Franco, and Tees says Roger the Legend. Yeah, there were some good lap times, but none better than Franco tonight.
Starting in 5 seconds. Very quick to get ready. No setup changes needed.
No, should have a dry race. Should be fair running for everybody. And it's all about strategy now. Let's take a look at tyre choices. Majority of the tail of the field choosing mediums, but Jimmy Allen, Jim and Yarmo refusing that option and going onto the lead tyre option. Are you surprised by that, Lightning?
I was just looking at the race director. I would personally, if I were in the free choice of tyre range, I'd go mediums.
Yeah.
No matter what. Like, I expect everyone should do that. But going anything else could prove beneficial if there's a perfectly timed safety car. But I guess we'll see how well they'll manage it.
Indeed. Yarmo, second in the championship, starting P17, needs a good race out of this one. I'd be slightly encouraged by the fact that Jibuk doesn't have the ultimate pace tonight over the whole of the field. And anything can happen into turn 1 through the S's, really, or anywhere around the first lap. And then we tend to focus on turn 12 and turn 1 for overtaking. But we can have a reasonably high risk of safety cars here, Lightning.
Well, there are lots of areas where you can make mistakes and cause a crash, but we do have the safety car on reduced, so it should make it less of a likelihood, but who knows, with this game we could have 5.
So Jensen Wong, who I think is Chad, asks what's the medium starting strategy. What's your opinion on that?
You have to really go medium soft, in my opinion.
So just run them as long as you can?
I'd say run them until they can go to lap 18, then they'll start feeling pretty horrible.
Yeah.
Try and stretch them to lap 19, I think 10 laps for the softs with low fuel will definitely be very possible. Whereas people who are starting on softs will have to go to lap 9, and that will be pretty awful to drive.
Well, we're just forming up for the formation lap, sorting the grid out. Franco will start pole on the outside of turn 1, and that becomes a bit of a pinch point into the apex, followed by Ayrton, not a newcomer to the league, just a new name and a username for him. Jibuk, championship leader, P3. We currently sit on his nose, followed by Tom and Roger and Ryan. But should get tasty up to turn 1. Trying to get everybody a good angle. There we go. We've got 5 lights. A long hold, but it's lights out and away we go. PSGL's F11, round 13 of the championship. Franco trying to shape to the inside, but he's going to have to get this done on the outside. But it's Ayrton gets the lead through turn 1. Franco leaving left out on the outside curb. Jibuk going around the outside, but Franco spins on the dirty side of the track, so that promotes our championship leader up to P2, and they head through the S's for the first time. I think Franco will survive this one, but it'll be right down there at the tail of the field, and away we go through the S's. The cars completely unpredictable levels of grip as they go through here. Jim has exited and rejoined. Yarmo, I'm reading in P8, Lightning.
Oh my goodness, I was on board with him. I've never seen a better start ever.
Wow.
From last to 7th, I see why he chose the soft tyres now.
Well, clip it if you can for us, because we'd love to see that in the week. Yarmo's still on the attack now on the inside of the Mercedes driver, Huberto Mancini. Huberto not making life too difficult for his teammates' championship rival. They clash wheels as the turn narrows. Yarmo wisely leaving a car width on the inside of turn 13, but he's got the next inside line, just taking a good line here. But what a start from Yarmo. P17 up to P7, and lap 1's not even done yet. Ayrton leads out of the front from Jibuk and Tom. Sadly, Franco down in 17th.
Yeah, heartbreaking for him from P1 to P17.
Absolutely. The Ferrari driver Ryan just shaping to the inside to discourage a move from Yarmo, who's on an absolute charge here. He's now with the drivers with similar grip, but Yarmo around the outside without any assistance whatsoever.
My goodness.
He's got this tyre warm-up nailed, hasn't he?
How has he done that?
Got the car completely underneath him.
That was perfect. From a crash to extreme confidence in this race.
Did I just see a Red Bull turning round? I think I did.
Chad,
it was Chad.
Yep. He is now last, so an extra position for Franco.
Apart from Yarmo at the moment, it feels like a race to the bottom. from the drivers.
Yeah.
Franco, Jim, Chad, all dropping places significantly from the start. But
We
Yarmo
have
up
Gibbet
11.
and Ayrton side by side. Gibbet on the outside,
Catch.
heading down the hill.
Ayrton with a
But,
little bit of overspeed. Oh, switchback
dive
move
bomb.
down to the inside. An old Danny Rick favourite, but Ayrton holds it, tries to take the inside of the track. They're barging each other. That was tough racing. And this time Gibbet looks like gets the inside line, and Ayrton is left scrabbling on the outside, and will now be defending from Tom. I don't think Ayrton will have enjoyed that one, Lightning.
No, that was very hard racing. I think Gibbet will have enjoyed it less, considering the dive bomb from Ayrton. I'm surprised there's no damage for either of them, but thankfully they can press on. Gibbet setting the fastest lap.
Indeed, while we watched with that one, looks like Yarmo Yarmo kept his place by Ryan. He goes down the inside again of turn 1, completely 4 wheels off the track on the apex of turn 1. He'll probably catch a warning for that, if not a corner cutting for that kind of move. But he's red hot, knows exactly what his car can do, and he seems to have a bit of an advantage on the rest of the field at the moment. Enro, our first penalised driver tonight in P16, gets overtaken by Jim in the middle of getting a penalty as well.
Yeah, he spun as well, so the trifecta.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, Tom has got himself past Ayrton. I think Ayrton might have some damage here.
Well, he did run quite wide, didn't he? And
there was quite some tough contact in the battle between him and Gibbet. So
Ayrton comes back though, retaliating, going back down the inside. He's got an Ayrton Senna special helmet on as well, and channeling the Brazilian star. Away we go then, car 78 in the thick of the action.
Oh my goodness, Yarmo!
What's Yarmo up to now?
Huge dive bomb.
Dive bomb's past his own
double left-hander.
Incredible stuff.
No, it was past Avenger, but it was extremely aggressive. I think Avenger might have some damage.
Oh right, okay, so possibly a threat of a report coming.
I think that might get reported, but there isn't any visible damage, and on board it looks like he can turn in quite well.
We've got a spinner on the exit of the final corner. I didn't see exactly who it was, but a car was turning round on the inside there. Just a reminder then, tyres, go ahead.
Roger letting Jarno by through sector 1, so he doesn't get any dirty air. He's on an absolute charge.
Ryan
He's only 2 seconds away from the leader.
Ryan's got a penalty now as well, but yeah, absolutely. Yarmo flying. He's now coming up behind Tom. You've got to imagine he's using these softs more than anybody else.
His softs are going to be very, very hot, but I see why he chose them despite having free choice. So my theory going against what's happening.
Well, it's working for him at the moment, but will he pay for it later is the big question for me. Avenger and Ryan fighting into turn 12. Ryan leaves just about half a car's width to the white line. Avenger has the right to reply and gets back through 13.
He's sending it again into the double left-hander.
He likes that line, doesn't he? He really likes that line now. He's on the outside. They touch. Yarmo's going to have to feather out the throttle to get this car round this famous turn. And Yarmo turns, and a lot of that early work undone. Just a tiny bit too much. He's done a 720 spin now, trying to recover the car. Will have destroyed those softs. Declines the idea of going into the pits to get off them, but it's all gone a bit wrong. Yarmo down to 15th, Lightning.
Oh no, what a waste of progress. He had so much confidence with all those moves, but they became more and more aggressive, and then it just went too much. He's got overheated tyres, and he's counter-steering into every single corner.
Possibly a touch of desperation.
He's going to spin here again. He's got 2 hot tyres, I reckon.
He's done so well, but was greedy to move further up the grid. Possibly he'd passed the best of his tyres already, but if that was the case, he's made a big error. down to 15th. Needs to perhaps do something different now, or rely on a little bit of favourable caution period. We've got Tom and Ayrton battling up there. Ayrton forces Tom to the outside of turn 12, grabs the racing line, and they race on. Ryan still tucked up behind Avenger, but couldn't get by that time. Ayrton and Tom continuing to battle through into the next sequence. Ayrton on the inside now for the quadruple right-hander. Nicely
Fabulous
done.
corner, that.
Yeah. Matthew Firth said Jarno is better than Jarno.
Well,
the most commonly asked question.
Sure if that's delayed.
No, I think it was a little bit premature. Perhaps you could even call it a viewer curse. I don't know if it came in time, but
well,
yeah.
It is a comment, so I suppose it is a commentator's curse.
Commenter's curse.
Oh,
don't promote
my
people.
Goodness,
What have you
Avenger
seen?
nearly just spun. He used too much curb on the on turn 2.
Yeah.
And if you do that too much, you will spin, and he was very close to doing so.
Got a great slipstream battle. Look at the gaps up and down the field. It's fantastic stuff. 6 laps in, and what a difference it makes being on a circuit that actually welcomes drivers to drive closely with one another and invites them into turns with different lines. It's making a huge difference.
Oh, Yarmo has spun again.
Oh no.
Has he got damage? Thankfully not, but that is going to...
Tom challenging for second place, gets there with DRS, takes the middle of the road in defence of any comeback from the Ferrari. Tom back up to P2. This is just letting Gibbert get away with it though, Lightning.
Yeah, I mean, nearly a 3-second gap, and he has no penalties, and P2 and 3 do, so that's going to give him a huge confidence boost, especially considering Yarmo is in 17th.
This early
Vapor
stage
Shadow,
of the race is absolutely, yeah, he'd just overtaken somebody as well. He's stuck down there now, back in 16th, unfortunately. Yeah, it's definitely favouring the soft runners this stage of the race. The medium drivers really haven't made much progress, which you will often see.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised. We have Lanzi in 9th, who is doing a reasonable job, but not making much progress currently.
We currently have a DRS train from P2 sequentially down to P8. it's fantastic.
Close racing, what we love to see. Hopefully Tom can cut into Gibbert's lead. We want to see some close racing between the top 2.
Well, it comes a point where they need to allow each other by, the guys fighting for second place, just with a hope of catching Gibbert, because the more they battle and resist each other, the further away Gibbert gets.
I mean,
looks like Ryan on the attack now on Avenger. Of course, car in front has also got DRS, so Ryan can't really do anything about it. No moves, no dramatic moves made, but Ryan is so close to the car behind. Too close, perhaps, if he misjudges his braking.
Yeah, it is a very dangerous game to be playing at, but as is expected, Tom has 20% ERS, meanwhile everybody behind is in the 50s or above.
Yeah,
so,
using it in defence when everyone else has got DRS, trying to resist everybody. It's going to need to change that tactic at the moment. Ryan might go for a dive into the final corner. Oh no, he's just taking his time for the next DRS zone, I think. Got too close.
Avenger through.
He got too close and touched the car in front, had to back out of the throttle. And up the hill they go. Very, very late braking is possible up here. Multiple lines, but while we've got a DRS train, very difficult. Really, the onus is on Ayrton to make the first real move here. Meanwhile, Gibbert 3 seconds in the lead at this stage, lap 8 of 28 with Tom, Ayrton, Roger, Avenger, and we ride with Ryan, with Jimmy Allen close behind, down to 7th. Then Huberto Mancini in the first medium runner on the favourable strategy, according to our co-commentator Lightning, on P9 currently, but not far away from the rest of the drivers. In fact, he's caught Huberto Mancini by about a second in the last lap. So is this the tipping point for the medium tyre?
Absolutely. I'm expecting some pit stops in the next 2 laps. from the soft runners. Staying out longer is just going to make you bleed time.
Lancy gets by on
yeah.
DRS. He gets past Huberto.
Should start making the moves.
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing this.
Excellent stuff. He's got the comic book style helmet on the car. I can't remember what they actually called that one, but it's got POW and Kablam and things written on it.
Interesting.
You say that as if it's not interesting in the slightest.
It's not. What's more interesting is a pit stop for
Roger.
Flying Dutch Roger.
Roger pits. So does Avenger as well. So these guys could end up with a nice undercut on the cars ahead. Ayrton still trying to track down Tom, but Gibbert gets away from everybody.
Hard tyres for Roger.
The majority of the front of the field will pit now on the next opportunity, now that that's been triggered. But,
surprised that Roger went for the hards.
How powerful is the undercut here? It seems like with the cars at full throttle, the whole of the pit lane, it's not going to be particularly special.
Well, through Sector 1 and Sector 3, the tyres make a huge difference. The traction zones in Sector 3 especially, when you have worn tyres, they are very unpredictable and make the car very unstable. The more talented the driver, the less powerful it's going to be, but for those in the midfield, the undercut is going to be very powerful.
Yeah, especially when they're running line astern and like this. A dive down the inside goes Ayrton, but a very compromised, pinched exit line gives Tom the next advantage on the way back into turn 13. He forces the Ferrari driver gently out of the track limits and forces him to lift as they head now through 16, 17, 18. The triple right-hander, modelled on the famous Turkish turn 8. What have you seen now?
Another spin for Yarmo. What has happened?
In comes Ayrton. Tom with a little bit of a fake out. Gibbert's come in as well, so Tom will take the lead of the race on lap 10, but just temporarily. Jimmy Allen promoted as he goes through, and so does Ryan. So these guys looking after their tyres and hoping to string this one out a little bit further, but fresh mediums through Sector 1 is going to be a tough act to follow when it comes to taking a later pit stop.
They're going for the hards. Gibbert and Ayrton have gone for the hard tyres.
Well, it's 18 laps to the finish of the race, and we haven't seen a safety car yet. Ayrton, is he having problems, or is he just come out of the pits?
Ahead of Ayrton?
No, that's the undercut. That's the undercut from Roger. He made the first pit stop the previous lap. Yeah. Dutch Roger and Avenger pitting on the same lap and having overtaken Ayrton in the pits. Ayrton isn't going to be happy to see that one. So far, Gibbert surviving with his 3-second gap he had at the front prior to the pit stops should help him defend from everybody else. I don't think Tom, Ryan and Jimmy Allen are going to be able to compete at this stage of the race. Lap 10 as we get a yellow flag. Yarmo is just all over the place, isn't he? Yeah. On a bit of a kamikaze run now. Only 2 points separate Yarmo from our championship leader, so all is not lost and the championship is not over. But a performance like this one is definitely going to make life very difficult for him and a little bit easier for Gibbert. The night is early though. Gibbert still has a long way to go before he can complete this particular race. Jimmy Allen pits. Ryan goes on through again. Jimmy Allen out of the race. He's retired. In the pits.
Oh no, in the pits. Why did he do that?
He's had enough, or he's got something else, somewhere else to be. Maybe his dinner's ready.
Maybe he's got dinner. Yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't be the first time we've commented on a race where dinner gets in the way. I'll check to see if he informs anyone. But he's done the right thing, of course, retiring in the pits. Hopefully he'll stop by at some point. Gibbert with a penalty, so completing the set as he goes aggressive on the hard tyres through the S's. That's going to equalise matters a little bit and make him breathe a little less easily after that.
Someone has spun. Yep. J11 M223.
Jim.
Who is just doing donuts in the middle of the gravel for no reason. Okay, well, we'll ignore that.
Gravel donuts, interesting, from Jim. Okay, well,
What's he doing?
probably not happy with himself. Yeah, he's just making patterns. I don't.
I think
Yeah,
his
we're
car
not.
is glitched
Oh,
because he left
interesting.
the session and then it started doing donuts, and now he's back.
Yeah.
I don't actually think this is him doing it.
AI running donuts. Okay, let's focus on the action. Dutch Roger and Ayrton are battling again through turn 12 and 13. Will Ayrton go dive bomb down the double left-hander? Yes, he does. Resumes that P8 and gets ahead of Roger now. Ayrton with some good pace and some good racecraft. Ryan has pitted from the front and is dropping down now, so leaving Tom out for a 12th racing lap. Virtual safety car.
It's
So
because of J11 and his glitched car.
check that one out though for Ryan. How perfectly is that timed? He was already in the pit lane when the VSC comes out.
This is going to help him so much.
We really need the ability to kick a driver who's glitching in this game, because
The problem is he was already out. He wasn't
a
even
big
in the
issue.
session.
Well, he's out now. He's properly out now. So
Yeah, but he wasn't even in control of his car.
No,
he was kicked from the session automatically, and then his car glitched into the wall and retired.
Just shameful, frankly. Something like that going down. Ryan saying last sector wasn't happy with the last sector, but he has got out in P9 just behind Dutch Roger. We go green again. Tom still leading from Lancy and Matty, yet to pit. Then Jibbock, our de facto leader from Enro Avenger, Enro's teammate, in 6th now. Then Ayrton, Roger and Ryan.
Ryan on the mediums, the only one to
brave them. He's braved them for
Avenger as well.
16 lap run. So a 16 lap run is Ryan's attempt here. We'll see if the medium starters get to sort of lap 14, 15 on a heavier car, and if that's possible. But he'll need to treat them pretty gently at the moment, Lightning.
I think that they can get to lap 18. They will feel pretty awful then, but
yeah,
it is possible. But
Tom pits from the lead, and Ayrton is very, very loose on these new hard tyres that didn't really get a good heat cycle before we went to VSC. So Ayrton really struggling. I think he'll be vulnerable to Roger very soon. Although with both cars having DRS, it's helping him defend. He's got Avenger ahead of him as well. Finally, Tom pits on end of lap 12, start of lap 13. Drops down behind Ryan. Ryan gaining a place there on Tom, but will have worse tyres at the end. They've both gone onto medium tyres now. So we've got just the 2 medium starters at the head of the field yet to pit.
Tom's strategy is baffling. He's lost 10 seconds. He was 3 seconds away, and now he's lost 10 seconds. It makes no sense.
Yeah,
to me. Gibbet getting past Matty, who was on much older tyres, and no ERS, and negative fuel. Hopefully he can recover that.
Indeed. Tom coming back on Ryan here, down the back straight into turn 12. Nice pass, done partly on the brakes, partly with DRS. Not fought too hard from Ryan, as I mentioned, treating those tyres very gently now as he tries to get them to the end of the race. Got a nice battle developing. Ayrton, Avenger and Roger. Looks like Enro has spun around. That's exactly where it was, just ahead of the drivers. Enro perhaps running those tyres a little long and struggling.
And another spin.
Yeah. Really seeming like it's a big problem for the drivers tonight around this circuit, getting the car back under control.
People, when they spin, they have to slow down completely. They can't expect the car to have the same grip levels when they're at 110 degrees.
But the heat of the battle, Lightning, it's so difficult to be patient and to tell yourself to treat the tyres carefully when you see people piling on past you and all the work you've done going to ruin. I can definitely sympathise with the drivers. It must be incredibly difficult not to press the button, press the accelerator.
Yeah, I do agree with you with that, but it'll make it worse for themselves.
Franco on a good comeback so far. He's just picked up another penalty, but he's battling hard. Potentially got the penalty just for being in the error wake of Huberto Mancini. Currently in 9th. Remember, Franco, our pole sitter tonight, and had an issue very early in the race, losing it, I believe, in the S's, and now on the hunt back for the points, getting by Huberto very easily under DRS. Big swipe to resume his position. That was a bit over aggressive, but he was well past the driver in front. I don't think that will phase Huberto Mancini, who's generally pretty low key.
Get back to the racing line. Better run through the corner. Purely for the extra speed.
Just looked a little bit aggressive.
It did look aggressive, definitely.
Yeah. But 7.5 seconds, Franco's next gap up to P7. Franco on a slightly different strategy, but the cars in front of him very similar. Tom gets a fastest lap, a 35.629 on those fresh medium tyres. They'll be quick now, but they'll be slower later. He is.
From 10 seconds behind Jibbook to now only 6.
Yeah. Tom's got some good pace here. Jibbook is struggling on the hard tyres at this stage. Yeah. We'll see. The car obviously coming alive for him on these mediums. Let's hope he doesn't do what Yarmo did and take too much out of them in the early stage of their life. Nice close racing at the front still. Lancy holding out, lap 14 for him. Jibbook now up to P2 after everybody else has pitted. Lancy the only non-pitter in our race so far, so you expect him in very soon. Tom defending from Ryan again. They've been in the thick of it tonight, these drivers, and a nice train from Ayrton all the way down to Ryan here. Matti gets by Huberto Mancini in the background as the Williams driver dives up the inside of Roger. It's a compromised exit out of turn 15, sorry. But he just about holds on. Yeah, that was smooth. Non-contact pass made there by Tom. Opportunistic. Caught the driver in front by surprise, and away he goes. DRS, eyes focused firmly forwards. Not bothering to look in his mirrors at this point. Next stop, Avenger ahead, who's on older mediums. A new fastest lap now from Matti, who's on the soft tyres after his pit stop. Franco up to P8, but trying to run these mediums on a conservation run to the end if we get no caution periods. We don't need a caution period in this one to keep it exciting, Lightning.
No, we certainly don't. We have a huge train of cars here and loads of moves all the way down the order. I know someone who would want a safety car, and that is Mr. Amazing Start, Yarmo.
Yeah.
Downhill after that, sadly.
It has been. It's an absolute crying shame because it looked like Yarmo was on for something special, but then it was the same story for Franco as well, who's recovered slightly better, I guess, than Yarmo, as Tom goes down the inside of Avenger. Tom dispatches another driver in another lap. Sequential overtakes.
Yarmo is out.
Yarmo's gone from the session with a yellow flag. There's no cars near him at the moment. Will we escape a safety car, or will it looks to be offline, but a yellow flag in the S's. Let's have a look.
Exact same place he DNF'd in qualifying.
From the perspective of Emro as he goes through, keep your eyes right after the next corner, and there you see Yarmo's car well offline in the barriers, and we go green again, thankfully. So no big caution period. Lancy would have been quite grateful for a safety car right now. 16 laps on his mediums from the start on a heavy car. He's refused that pit entry yet again, and is hoping for field spread or a convenient caution period to take him to the end of this one.
I think he's waiting for lap 18. That is a suggested strategy to pit for the softs, and it would make it much better for him at the end. Less to worry about in terms of wear.
Yeah.
If I were Tom, I'd stick behind Ayrton here, because he's only got 10% battery. Charge up a bit and go on a charge after the race leader. But
Tom Is Tom struggling with
Oh no,
battery
Ayrton
here?
is in AI mode. I'm
Tom's
not sure
down
if he
to
just did a
3%.
straight.
He was derating on the exit of the hairpin, so Tom is on. He's virtually empty at this
Yeah.
point. Yeah. Obviously spent a lot to get track position, and can't fault him on that. Good moves, and he's dispatched other drivers with real precision. Gets
I thought he was going
almost
for it
down the
there.
inside, yeah. Just the positioning of Ayrton's car keeping him ahead. Quarter of a second now the gap, Ayrton to Tom. And I wonder what kind of pace Tom will have released from all this traffic. Down
Not
into the
much
final
if he
corner.
doesn't save some ERS.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
He's
DRS
using
now.
it again.
Is he really?
Yeah. Not sure why. There was no point in doing that, mate.
No, feints to the inside, trying to get Ayrton to change his line. It didn't work. Now he has to follow Ayrton all the way through the S's, which is very difficult this close. Meanwhile, Gibbert gets away further, 5.3 seconds Gibbert's gap here to this battle. Lancey holding on at the front, 17 laps on the mediums. Desperate for that safety car to arrive, but it's not happening yet as Gibbert closes in now. So lap 18 of 28 sees Lancey holding out for a pit stop, but really it's Gibbert in the lead from Ayrton and Tom, then Avenger, Roger, Ryan with a strong race, but Ryan's not on target to get P2
Tom,
I'm
up the
asking
inside.
for him. Yes, he has.
Oh, yeah, that penalty might get removed.
Because he was forced to the inside, you think?
Well, Ayrton, I think he moved in the braking zone, and oh, he does it again. That's not the best tactic there, mate. Going off track.
Ooh, yeah, and Ayrton not happy either.
Also illegal.
Yeah, well,
Come on, Ayrton.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other at the moment. These drivers pushing each other off and rejoining off the track. Another penalty. They're starting to add up. Lancey finally pits. Yarmo updates us in the chat and says he thinks it was Tom who hit him early on, and after that it's been an absolute awful situation. Ayrton defends the inside. Tom goes wide. Will Ayrton drive him outside the circuit? Yes, he does. Expect a radio message similar to we saw from Raikkonen and Alonso. That was very similar.
It was very similar.
Ryan gets another penalty, and they're really adding up now. It's difficult through the S's, Lightning, but drivers aren't going to gain places by doing this.
Yeah, it is very difficult, but you have to keep composed. I would prefer to leak a tenth a lap than get a 3-second penalty.
Yeah.
I think Tom will get that extra corner cutting penalty removed, because I don't think it was fair for him to get it. There's nowhere else he could go.
Well, we'll have to call the race as we see it on track, and just update everybody if the steward decision. A good response though from Ayrton as he goes down the inside. Looks like Roger and Ryan behind this battle also exchanging places over and over. Ryan's got the inside through 13. Will we see a late move? Tom's gone for it again, Lightning, and it's carbon copy of the previous lap as Ayrton retains his position off the circuit, but he would argue to any steward inquiry that he was pushed off.
The on Tom's onboard, he had to turn into Ayrton. He had to turn right into the left-hander, otherwise he would have spun. Absolutely would have spun. So
Are you saying he had to turn right to go left?
yes, I am saying that. Yeah.
Tom with a good switch back there. Beautiful stuff as they head down to the S's once again, and as much as it's aggressive driving and pretty rough work, it's certainly entertaining. Wow, look at that! Ayrton goes around the outside through the S's. No, I wasn't either, riding with Tom as Ayrton sneaks up on the outside, and this one's just going to run and run. Ayrton made a mistake though, hits his teammate as he rejoins Ryan up to P3.
I think he did make a mistake. I think that was for DRS.
Do you?
I think he slowed down for DRS. He's going to get an incredible run.
Well, all he's done is get DRS on his teammate. and give up a place. Ryan with a huge overspeed gets the first DRS queue. This time it's another move. Contact with the back of his teammate. Oh no, they're both round. And Ryan absolutely compromised from the action of Ayrton there. Ryan dipping in and out of AI after that incident. He's not going to be a happy boy whatsoever. That was pretty awful racing from a teammate perspective. Ayrton may well take the view he's been in this championship longer and therefore deserves priority from the Ferrari team boss, but that's just let Tom and Roger get away, and frankly that was pretty sloppy on behalf of the Ferrari team combination. Ayrton slipping down to 8th. Ryan's decided to pit here, which would not be plan A whatsoever.
He got some damage.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, he has to change his wing. That is a Ferrari masterclass.
Race ruined by just slightly greedy, slightly aggressive driving. Ayrton was giving as good as he got from Tom, and then just unfortunately involved his teammate in the battle and didn't treat his teammate any differently. Yeah,
that was some of the most aggressive racing I've seen in a while.
But you question that was potentially slowing for the DRS advantage?
At first, that was my first instant thought.
Yeah.
But then he lost the position to Ryan, and maybe it was a mistake. The off-cambered turn left-hander there is very easy to make a mistake on. But
somehow we're down to 7 laps to go. Tom has not been able to catch Jibbock whatsoever. Lancey is moving up as well. These soft tyres going very nicely. Lancey, what a drive at the in the sort of second half of this race, up to P5, and waiting for the field to spread out as it did and wait for other people to have accidents has really paid off for Lancey here.
Not just that, but keeping his nose clean throughout the whole race, no penalties, and going to reap the benefits.
He's on it here. Franco also back up to P4 after a disastrous lap 1. What a recovery drive from Franco. You've got to say, Jibbock's got some amazing pace here tonight at the head of the field and can drive to the speed of the cars behind him now. Roger up to P3, and I think that these medium tyres on Franco and Tom are not able to compete with the hards at this stage.
Lancey is on for P2 here, I reckon.
Yeah, if you can keep it clean.
This is what the alternate strategy can do if you play your cards right. And he's played it perfectly.
Yeah, affirm that. He's up 6 places, as is Matty behind. We mustn't forget to mention Matty, who's had a very similar drive up the field. Vapor Shadow up
Matty
6.
Isn't going to make the end of the race.
Negative fuel.
Half a lap negative.
Ooh, okay, he's going to have to do some pretty serious lifting and coasting, so may not feature in the rest of these battles. But Lancey, DRS, gets past Franco into turn 12. Those soft tyres, Franco just can't compete on those tyres, and he really has no business trying to. So lets that one go for the greater good at the end of the race. Lancey, though, 2.7 seconds his gap to Roger, and I think Roger's got a 6-second penalty, so potentially, as Lightning said, on for a podium and potential P2 if his pace continues like this. 9.4 seconds Jibbock's lead on lap 23.
Wishing for a penalty for Jibbock is Lancey, because
yes.
The speed he's showing now is absolutely incredible. Got a little bit of clear track ahead, so through this sector 1, going to absolutely romp away from Franco.
Yeah, so Matty and Lancey on the soft tyres, so is Avenger. Ryan's put them on as well, trying to get points out of this race after a difficult situation there a few laps ago. But we'll ride and check out these penalties. So Jibbock, 3 seconds. I don't suppose you could have a look, see how close Jibbock is to another penalty potentially. Always great to have you able to do that for me. I can't, of course, do it as the lead streamer because we miss on-track action. Tom still derating down the main straight, has harvested very little, and now Roger on the attack. He's within DRS. I think Roger will get Tom here tonight on the track. regardless of any penalty situation, as Chad gets the fastest lap late on into this race. He won't get a point for it down in 14th, but he's denying anybody else the opportunity.
Jibbock is one warning away from another penalty.
Oh, so 5 laps to go in this amazing United States Grand Prix in PSGL's F11 season 29. And yeah, we are on a knife edge to finish this one. Lancy with an opportunity potentially to get himself up onto the podium, and maybe the lead away. He gets a little bit of a snap on oversteer on the way out of the final corner, but Roger not really able to catch particularly well. Is he low on ERS? He is fairly low, about 1/5 of his total.
Yeah, 15% currently.
But that will recharge faster. That will recharge faster than Tom is able.
Yes, absolutely. The more you have, the faster it will recharge. Once you get in the 20s, the power significantly drops, and it's a lot harder to recover. But even less than 20 is worse.
Jibbock is coming up to lap the rearmost driver, Enro, at this point. And the fastest lap, as I mentioned, sits with Chad, 34.2. That's quite a bit faster than anybody else. Fresh softs for Chad, and making hay while he can. Roger's still not able to get past Tom. I'm just unsure why Roger can't get him on DRS down the back straight. Ayrton gets by Matty, so perhaps the soft tyres starting to dip. I guess Roger's hard tyres just not being able to slingshot him out of turn 11.
Roger can just afford to sit and wait, to be honest. I mean, if he doesn't push the limits, he won't get a penalty, and he'll be ahead of Tom. What he might not know is that there's a chance Tom could get his penalty removed. Yeah. So that is a problem for Roger.
That's why it's not always smart to just sit and wait for penalties to be applied for your overall race. But in terms of glory on the stream, I guess it works. Enro retires in the S's. Let's see, is that going to cause a problem for the drivers? We're about to come on it from Franco's perspective.
Oh,
where's the car? That's not good. There's a very strong likelihood. No, the marshals have cleared the car. That was quick work. Especially as they weren't on track doing anything. They weren't anywhere near the car, but it cleared very quickly. Emro left the session. We managed to cope without a safety car again, so this reduced safety car protocol doing its magic, and we've managed to live without a single full course. Well, we have had a virtual safety car, but a full safety car we've avoided so far, hence why we're so far into our race, and it's almost over. 3 to go. Jibbock leads from Tom and Roger here, but penalty situation should demote Tom. Lancy now half a second behind Roger, has picked these tyres back up. I think they went through a bit of a graining phase and he was struggling to hang on, but looks like he's got a little bit of life left in them to battle it out at the end, and might well try and get further up the grid. Another penalty for Ryan. It's all going wrong. He's made it up to P10, but with 12 seconds of penalties, it's going to see him drop another 2 at least. And Lancy now down to 2 laps to go. Lancy has to make the most of any opportunity provided to him to move up. Doesn't, as you say before, doesn't really need to, but never wise to rely on penalties to stick.
I mean, he's got the pace advantage, so he should be able to get past reasonably easily.
Got Avenger getting a penalty as he follows behind Ayrton. Those two were certainly sharing a lot of battles earlier on. We've seen some over-aggressive driving tonight, costing our drivers big time. Really affecting, you have to say, Yarmo, I think, at one point there. I think Tom was risking it all with Ayrton, and Ayrton in turn smashed into his teammate and caused a problem. Jamie has retired late into the race, and this is the time in the race when we tend to get issues when the tyres are dropping off, but actually Jamie's voluntarily retired in the pits. An interesting time in the race, Lightning, to drop out.
You might as well just finish it.
You might as well. I hoped I wasn't alone in that opinion. Ryan and Dave are fighting.
There could be massive crash right at the end of the race. So
yeah.
Could
especially the way people are driving tonight. They're obviously trying to get points, trying to get the glory at the end of the championship. With 2 to go after this one, Jibbuk will take a commanding lead if he can finish off the next lap and a half the way he's done the first 27. There's a shadow with a penalty. He really has. He's not always been super consistent this year, but his highlights have been very high indeed. Jibbuk.
Good name as well.
Is it?
Jibbuk. It's quite cool.
Okay. I've often wondered about it, but yeah. I've not known if I've been saying it right or what, but he's never corrected me, so I hope I'm doing it right.
Reminds me of a joke in Blackadder, or something Blackadder might say.
Yeah.
Oh, let's say I think Dave or Chad has made a mistake into the pits.
Oh dear.
I think he's pitting for the fastest lap, but he spun into the pit lane and broke his wing.
Well, if he pits now, that's too late for a fastest lap bid, isn't it? You're on an outlap.
He didn't change his wing? Why didn't his team change his wing? He's going to go out with no wing.
Looks like some of the spice has gone out of this battle between Lancey and Roger. I think Lancey might just be settling for his position, knowing the penalty situation, and doesn't want to risk it. But he's going to have Franco behind him pretty soon. In fact, make that now. He's got Franco close behind. Roger is derating up the hill to turn 1. This is the final lap for our drivers. Ayrton up to P6 again. Ryan down to P12, sadly. And that's probably where he'll finish, even after the penalties. Avenger and Ayrton continuing to battle. Avenger gets the place back into turn 1. Roberto Mancini getting by Matti as well. Everybody's fighting here tonight. We've got Ryan in the pits, I think, speeding in the pit lane, and a retirement. A bit of a negative way to finish up, but I can understand the frustration. Nothing's going to come from the race for him. Jibbuk finishing up though. I'll just check in with Tom, Roger and Lancey, see if anyone makes a move at the end. Will Lancey go for it? He shapes to the inside, just trying to distract the Haas driver ahead of him, but should see Lancey get second place tonight if he can hold on. Franco is very close behind him though. He doesn't want to end up with a big battle with him. Ayrton and Avenger trade places once again, and Ayrton back up there, but Jibbuk is rounding out the penultimate corner. Jibbuk leading the championship with 2 points ahead in the championship, make that much bigger gap as he wins in the United States. Commanding style from Jibbuk. Congratulations to him. Tom exits his car to finish the race and ends up with Lancey getting second, Roger holding on to a podium in third place. Tom demoted to fourth. Ayrton and Avenger continue to fight to the very end, but Avenger gets it in fifth after the penalties. Ayrton sixth. Roberto Mancini promoted to seventh. Franco's penalties, and in fact I think a late race issue for Franco puts him all the way down. I'm not quite sure. I think there might be a glitch with Franco's car. That's a glitch. That's a
20-second penalty type of glitch.
Yeah. Well, we've had a fair few of those tonight, unfortunately.
A little bit of a problem with the lobby, but
yes.
Thankfully didn't affect the racing too much.
Tim says, how do you join? Tim, go to the About section on the channel once we're done with the race tonight and find the invite into the Discord, and everything's written out for you from there, but it involves some time trial times and some proof to join in. I'm glad you've enjoyed it enough to want to join us for next season 30, after Christmas, I imagine, sometime. But Jibbuk, what a perfect time to get a win, and even better to have your main championship rival DNF. Jibbuk, 2 races to go, takes a huge lead and might be tempted to put a finger or two on the championship trophy. Lancy, brilliant drive up to P2,
Absolutely.
absolutely amazing, and gets driver of the day for his troubles. Maybe you could take us through the final standings then, bearing in mind I think Franco has been reinstated and hasn't dropped down.
Perfect. Gibbuk P1, a dominant display from him. The championship leader now by 18 points, followed by Lancy. Brilliant recovery. Then Roger, Franco, Tom, Avenger, Ayrton, Mancini, Dave, and Matty, who had run out of fuel right at the end. Then the non-points finishers of Shadow, Ryan, Chad, Jamie, NRO, Yarmo, Jimmy, and J11.
I've always been
With
calling him
Chad,
Jim, but J11 works too.
fair enough. Chad with the fastest lap, but no points.
Yeah,
That was quite a race.
it was fantastic stuff. I hope everyone has enjoyed it. Make sure you've liked the video before you exit. Share it on socials if you've enjoyed it. Maybe get a good clip, timestamp, and share it out there. But yeah, we've really enjoyed that one tonight.
I certainly have. I have two drivers of the day. Lancey and Franco stand out, in my opinion. They've done a very great job.
Yeah, it's difficult to look. I mean, Jibbock's very happy, as you can imagine. He's had a fantastic result
Dominant
tonight,
performance.
but didn't really have a
Yeah.
lot of trouble. It all happened behind him.
Yep. Kept his nose clean. Consistent
Definitely,
laps.
definitely
No mistakes.
really good quality racing from the leaders. Perhaps some areas for improvement for some of the drivers, especially when it comes to battling close. But it's a difficult track, Lightning. It's a track that drivers don't get a great deal of practice in, and I guess we can forgive them a little bit of overzealous driving as we reach the sort of end of term feeling as we close out our season. 2 races to go as we finish up. So just the next two, no, not the next 2 weeks. Next week is a break week, and then we have the final 2 races of the championship. That's the break week for our for the F1 esports watching.
Ah,
If you've had a different driver of the day for us on the chat, do let us know before you depart. But Lightning, your first impressions of F11 at PSGL?
it was really fun. I definitely enjoyed it, and I can't wait for the next race in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Um, I've
absolutely. Well, it's been
clipped,
great having you back with us. You say you've got a clip of what Yamo's
yeah,
start.
the start
Oh,
because
brilliant.
despite the end, the start was fantastic.
Well, hopefully you can publish that, and we'll link it in the chat um, or in the description if possible of this race, and we can head out and review it maybe. But we'll try and remember it to talk about it next week, or we can also publish it on Twitter, I guess. If you have enjoyed the commentary tonight, you can follow me on Twitter at WebberRed5, where I have another race with Lightning through the week. If you particularly enjoyed our double act, but make sure you follow us. You follow PSGL, Premier Sim GL, I believe is the Twitter tag, and you've subscribed to the channel. But we've really enjoyed it tonight, Lightning, and I think it's about time we headed off.
Yeah, I've certainly enjoyed it. It was very fun. Thank you for inviting me over. I
No problem
definitely
at all.
enjoyed it.
Good to have you with us. Good to rest my voice a little bit. And thanks to everyone taking part in the chat, in the watching along, and of course to our league coordinators, Gibbuk and Jamie, giving up some of their time to provide the racing for us and host the session and everything. It's worked well for Gibbuk, less so for Jamie tonight, but we wish Jamie the best of luck in the final 2 races of the year. Thanks to everybody, and we will catch you on the next race day.